Hello people. This video is presented to you by Upptalk. Upptalk is an online community for live, interactive software training, creating confident individuals capable of using global business tools. In this tutorial video, you will learn about Ginger automation. Let's first define exactly what Ginger automation entails. Ginger automation is an AI-powered software that helps businesses automate their workflows and processes. It uses natural language processing, NLP, to understand user intent and automate tasks accordingly. The following topics will be covered in this video. Xpath and its attributes values. Xpath website developer option. Xpath in Ginger and in website. Flow controls. Stay tuned for our next video in Upptalk. And please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more updates. Mr. Pratik, certified trainer in Ginger automation, will go through all the topics mentioned. Let's start away once we greet him.
We can see the syntax of writing the XPath, relative XPath specifically is // you need to put a tag name. Okay, the tag name can be input, division, something like this, and then you need to within the square bracket you need to start with attribute name equal to attribute value. Okay, so this is the basic rule of writing a relative XPath. Okay, however, if there are no attribute name value pair or you want to go with the text value pair, we can use this as well as a text method and equal to the text string. Okay, whatever be the text is there, we can give the text string as well. Apart from that, we can use the contains. Okay, so if you remember, if there is just a small part of string you want to add, okay, you don't want to add the complete string, or the rest of the string is having a prefix or suffix which is changing frequently, you can just concentrate on some of this text value. Like the here we just said del, which was having some white spaces or something in between, so we can use contains as well. Always remember that the two parameters inside the contains are always separated by comma, not equal to. Okay, because here in we write equal to text value, but here the two parameters inside the contains should have comma separated arguments. Okay, so that is clear, and we can write some XPath like this as well. This is also a valid XPath. However, this will give us multiple results. What? Okay, uh, how many number of elements present on the web page, and for sure we can use contains using the attribute name value pair as well as the text value pair as well. Okay, so I hope so till this point everything is clear to you all. Okay, so now today what we will do is we'll jump to any website. Let's suppose I'm opening amazon.in. Okay, so here if you see this amazon.in, I just open the developer option. Okay, by right click inspect, or we can say control shift I, and after that you can see this is the drop down element. Okay, you can see this is a select tag. Okay, the tag name is select, and we have different attribute name value pairs. Okay, so one of them is class, so class has multiple white spaces and it's a quite big string. Data in AVH digest, and we have name equal to URL as well as ID equal to search drop down box. So here we are directly getting the ID, but we are more interested in writing the XPath. Okay, so what I can do is I can copy this search drop down XPath. I can press Control F. Okay, and I will start writing the XPath of this. So how will I will write? I will write // then the tag name. So my tag name is select, and I will say @ID equal to this value. So that if you want to write an XPath, okay, you need to / tag name, then attribute name equal to attributes value. Okay, now if you don't know the tag name, okay, let's suppose you are not sure if this is always a select tag, it may change, or you are not sure what exactly is the tag name, you can put a star over here. Okay. If you don't provide any tag name, you can put a star. The star means any tag. Okay. Any tag, I mean any, it can be division, it can be span, it can be select, whatever it can be. Okay, no worries. But it should have ID equal to this value. That tag name may be division, input, span, select, whatever it should be, but should have a ID equal to this. And on this particular page we have just one such element, okay, which has any tag name, but attribute name value pair is ID search drop down box. Okay, so this is also a valid XPath. Always remember, we can put a star also over here. Star means any tag name. Okay, it doesn't matter, whatever you can use. Clear? So this is one thing. Okay, like suppose, okay, I will give one more example for particular this thing. Okay, I will try to put some common attribute. Let's suppose this tab index equal to 0. Okay, you can see this anchor tag tab index equal to 0. This tab index equal to 0 can be at multiple places. I'm not sure, but let's see. Okay, so for this particular element I will try to write an XPath that //a at the rate tab index. Okay, I will again go to that particular element. Here you can try with anything. Okay, any other value. Let's suppose where exactly the element went. Or I will try with this type equal to JavaScript. This is also a value of an attribute. Okay, type within script. So I will go // script. Okay, at the rate type equal to this. Okay, so you can see there are such 65 such results. Okay, 65 such results which has this script and type as TypeScript. So we should avoid writing such XPaths which gives us multiple results. Okay, such kind of 65 results. Okay, and if I put a star over here, that is also valid, but this says that all the tag name script has the type value as TypeScript. Okay, so you should go for some unique identifiers, not such identifiers like this, where exactly you will not be able to get single result. Okay, if you are getting such multiple results, then it will of no use. Clear? So always try, you get multiple, you should not get multiple results, you should get a single result. So you can use ID, okay, classes, names, whatever you want, but that should give us only one result. That should not give us multiple results. Okay, so that thing is clear, I think now. And now we will jump forward to whatever we have written for the drop down. Okay, so if I put // select, okay, if I put a // select, you can see this is also a valid XPath, as there is only a single drop down on the particular page, no other drop down. That's why this is also giving us a result. It says 1 out of 1. That means you are getting a result, only one result, even you have not provided in the square bracket that ID. Okay, that ID is nothing but where's the ID? It's within the right, this one, search drop down box. So either you provide this another condition at the rate ID equal to drop down, yes or no, doesn't matter, because there is only a single select tag on the web page. Okay, but for now we are just providing. And now we will be understanding about the child parent child relation. So here you can see this select has multiple option as a child, so I can /option to go to a particular child. Okay, so here if I am putting a slash, that means you want to traverse from parent to child. Okay, and there are 42 such categories. Okay, you can see these are the different categories options. So such 42 categories are there, and whatever category you want to go, you can go it like this to with indexing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, if you are not providing any index over here, it will point to the first element, first option, that is all categories. And if you provide one as well, it will point to the first element, that is all categories. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Okay, clear everyone? So in this way we can get the multiple categories. Okay, by writing the index, and the index should always be in the square brackets. I hope so this is clear. Now if you put just like this, okay, and you try to use this XPath, it will always point to the first occurrence of that XPath. Out of 42, it will point to the first occurrence if you have not provided anything. Okay, so always remember, whatever XPath you provide, whatever be the first occurrence from the top, it will point to out to that particular element. Okay, now I don't want to use the index. Okay, I don't want to use the index. Why? Because tomorrow the developer add a new category above, my indexing will change. Okay, let's suppose this fashion, Amazon fashion, is on number 5, right? You can see number 5. I will just zoom it out a little bit. Okay, like this. So you can see this is the number 5 one, Amazon fashion, currently like this. This is the perfect XPath for this. But tomorrow if the developer add a new category over above this, now fashion will become 6. It will not remain 5 anymore, because we have added one more category above, and our XPath will change. Our script will require maintenance. Okay, so what we will do, we can avoid doing indexing and we can filter it out as this option should have a text equal to Amazon fashion. Okay, so what I did is, instead of indexing, I provide another criteria inside the square brackets. See, like this. I was using 5 before. I don't want to use 5. I removed the 5 and I put another criteria called, I want only that option, that particular option, which has a text as Amazon fashion. Clear? So in this way, if you write such XPaths, you don't need any maintenance, because any category added above this will not hamper your work. Okay, will not at all hamper this XPath. Why? Because we are not hard coding anything that it is at number 5. We are saying it is about text. Whatever text is there called Amazon fashion, just check that option. Now if this option is coming in the last, then also this XPath will be valid. Okay, cool. So if that is clear, that you don't have any doubts till this point, okay, we will further move ahead, and we can use even the attribute name value pair. Let's suppose I want to use this attribute name value pair. This is a value, is an attribute, and it's yeah, and the value is this. So I will write @value equal to, okay, in the quotes, the value, exact value. So what I'm doing is I'm just using the same syntax, that tag name square bracket @attribute name equal to attribute value. Okay, so in this way also you can do, you can write some customized XPath. Okay, not from the starting. Okay, no, I'm not doing it from the start. After coming via ///// I can also start typing the relative XPath. Then let's move ahead and see how we can, if I am at this point, okay, you can see I have selected this option, the option is highlighted. I want to go back to select, okay, from child to parent. Currently I'm coming from parent to child. Okay, so how can I go from child to parent? Okay, so if you put a /.., okay, you can move from child to parent, reverse. So either you want to go from parent to child, you can put just a single slash. If you want to go from child to parent, you can put a slash dot dot. Similarly, as we traverse the directories in the Unix. Okay. So the same way, if you want to go from child to parent, you can do it like slash dot dot. If further I want to, if I will do slash dot dot, I will come to this division, because this division is a parent of this select, and this division is a grandparent of this option. Okay.
Mhm.
So if I want to move one hierarchy above, I can put a slash dot dot, and you can see now we are at the division which is a parent of this select. Okay. So in this XPath, in this HTML code, you can move here and there from parent to child, child to parent, anytime, any moment, using either slash, single slash, or slash dot dot. Okay. Further, again, I want to go to select. I will write slash select, and you can see I'm at this place. So this is all about XPath. And now what we will do is we will come to back to Ginger, and we will try to use these XPaths. Okay. Whatever XPaths we have written, okay, till now, we will be keep doing that, keep using that, because we learned them to use it, and now we will be using it. Okay. So again, I will be starting a fresh new solution today. Okay, let me name the solution as practice day 3. Okay, I want to practice on day 3, so I just name the solution as practice day 3. I choose the directory where exactly I will be putting up my things. Okay, my solution. So I have created a desktop folder called Ginger Projects, and I will place it here only. I will select my web app as an target application. Okay, and I will click on the create button. Okay, so once I create a new solution, I got this message as solution created successfully. Okay, so you can see a new business flow is already provided, a new activity is provided, and all and so forth, so forth. So now the first thing I will do here is I will configure the environment. Okay, I will have to configure a particular environment, configure the agent. So let's go with the agent first. Okay, so I go to the configurations tag. Okay, in this configuration tab, you can go to the agents. Okay, you can see there's a by default agent created. I just want to create a new agent. I can right click or click on this plus symbol to create a new agent, and we'll click on next. This we have done multiple times, so I'm giving it little bit going little but fast. But you can give the provide the name of the agent, the platform, the driver, and the type, like it's a Selenium Chrome. Click on next. Okay, you will see several settings. You need to click on finish, and here we got our new Chrome driver created. Okay, we can test the agent. Okay, we can test the agent, and it is launching us successfully. So perfect, no issues in that. And what next? Yeah, so this is our new agent created, and also we will try to create a new environment. To create a new environment, we have to go to the resources tab. Okay, configuration is for the agents, resource is for the environment. So I go to the environment tab, and I will try to create a new environment. Okay, I will just add a new environment, and I will name it as env1. Let's suppose for now it has a my web app. Okay, so this environment 1 is created, and here I will be adding the URL. Okay, so the automation URL which I will be using is https :// amazon.in. Okay, or .com for you. So this is the URL what I have created. I can click on save. So there are two options to save. Either you can right click on a particular entity, particular environment, and click save parent environment, or you can click on this particular save button. Okay, this will also do the same thing. So here I have a by default business flow created, but I will not be using it. I will just create my subfolders called development. Okay. And execution. And the third one is archive. Okay. For now, just I'm doing it via my protocols, my framework. Okay. So I created three of them, and I will delete this one. I don't want it anymore. So these three folders should be created on your end as well. Okay. Development, execution, and archive. If I go to development, I can create a new business flow here. Okay. And let me name it as Amazon business flow. Okay. So all the scenarios or all the test cases, what I will be working on is for Amazon is under this one, Amazon. Okay. So what I will do is I will go to the automate tab from here. Okay. Why? Because I need to automate something. For that, I need to see the actions. Okay. What actions I will be using it. Okay. So what I have to do is there are three ways of going from business flow tab to automate. One is you can this right side, you can click on this automate button, or you can right click and click on automate, or you can double click. Okay. These three are the options. So we will be using the same to come to the automate screen. Okay. And now the first step we will be doing is we will be adding the go to URL action. Now please listen here carefully. Okay. One important point I want to tell you here is you go to this action library. Okay. Till now we have not intentionally got deep dive in this, but now I'm telling you, you have these legacy actions called generic element action, which we will be using most of the time. Okay. So what happens when you import this generic element, you get this pop-up. Okay. Most of you were getting this pop-up that says this action is a legacy action which is deprecated soon, not recommended to be used anymore. Do you want to prefer add the replacement action? Now these replacement action is nothing but the platform action. Okay. I will do it again. I will show you these platform actions are the newly created actions. Instead of generic element, these are the new created actions. So what it asks, you need to be very sure that when you add a generic element action, it says, do you want to use the same legacy action or you want to switch to the new actions created? Okay, that are the new UI actions. If you say yes, that is the same thing, you do it via platform action. I mean, in legacy action, if you add this generic element and going to yes, it is the same thing. You can do it via platform action and import this directly. Okay. So the code written behind that pop-up of clicking yes is nothing but to add platform action. You will be no more using generic element action if you are going to do a yes on that pop-up. Okay. So that you should very clear. And if you are doing a no, okay, like suppose this go to URL action, this is a legacy action. Okay. If you do this, if you select no, it will open this only go to URL action. If you do yes, it will open that browser action. It will import the browser action, and the browser action is nothing but your platform action and browser action. So if you are very sure that you don't want to use the legacy action, you can directly import the browser action. It is the same thing. You do the same from legacy action, go to URL and put it yes. The same browser control action will be opened. It's the same, and this is also the same. Okay. So selecting on a pop-up of legacy is the same thing. You do it via platform actions. Otherwise, if you are specifically doing it no, okay, then only it will open that particular generic element action, no more platform action. And here you can see that particular action, or go to URL action. The go to URL action, if you're using legacy action, you will not see other options like you want to open in a current tab, new window or something. If you are doing a yes on that pop-up, you are nothing but importing the new go to URL action, that is the browser control action, which has operation type as go to URL, static and current and all. Okay. So the main idea was what I was saying is the legacy action. If you're doing a yes, it will definitely open the new actions. Okay. So we can directly go from here as well. So I will delete all of them. I just selected all. You can see how if you want to delete all of them, you can select all of them and just click on delete and it will delete all of them. Okay. In one go. So I will use this browser action only because otherwise I have to do legacy, then yes, and that also will do the same thing. So I'm using this browser action, and for sure I need to select the environment one, okay, from the drop down, which I just now created, and when I will be parameterizing it, what we have done till on yesterday using this expression edit. This is very important step, guys, because most of the time we used to hard code here. Even the assignment you will submit, um, I'm pretty sure some of you will hard code this URL, but that is not suggested. You should always be passing it via environment parameters. Okay. So if you want to pass it from environment parameters, you need to use this expression editor, expand it till global parameters and select it. Okay. Play it and check if you're able to see the URL. Just click on OK. Give it a specific name. Okay. Now why I'm not providing the URL or not I'm writing the description as launch Amazon URL is we will be using the same launch URL action somewhere else. Okay. And maybe tomorrow this action will be used to launch facebook.com. The description should not have that parameter added. Okay. Because we will be soon today doing the shared repository things. Okay. We'll add this action in the shared repository and then reuse it. Why we need to configure again and again. Okay. So that's why I just write it as launch URL. Okay. So that URL can be environment specific. Okay. And the agent I created Chrome. So till this point, everyone should be in the same page. Are you all able to add this action? Go to URL, I mean browser action, and then you want to do launch URL, and then you need to provide the parameter, environment parameter. I'm opening in the current tab. This should work fine for all of you. Okay, like this. So I just forgot to add something is the activity name. The activity name is also important. Okay. So I need to change the activity name as well. It should not be like something like activity one. Okay. So what I will do is I will change the activity name as well, because this activity name, okay, should be should not be activity one, something like activity one. Okay. So um, till now you have almost understood that we have business flows. Okay. And the business flows contain different activities. Okay. Each activity have its own actions. Okay. So we have different activities inside that, like we can add new activity as well from here, and you can click on next and you can give it as any other name. Okay. Like search value. Okay. So if you want to search any particular value inside that, you can create a different activity for that particular thing. Okay. And you can create the same activity as well. So each business flow will have different activities, and each activity will further have different actions. Okay. So this till this point everyone should be clear that the main important thing is the entities should be proper, that you should be getting, like activities have actions and business flows have activities. Okay, moving forward, what we will do is we will uh, okay, we will open the page, okay, amazon.com, okay, because the same we are working upon. And now the same XPath what we had written here, we will use this XPath. What is this XPath about? This is XPath is nothing about the select drop down one. Okay, in order to select a value from the drop down, we'll be using the same thing. Okay, this is the XPath. So what we will do is we will go here and we will try to add some platform actions. Okay, so you can see there are multiple platform actions, like screenshot action, smart sync action, two web element distances action, and UI element action. Okay, so most of the time you are adding this UI element action only. So till now also you were doing the same thing. You go to the legacy action, you try to add this generic element action. If you are doing a yes, it is opening the same UI element action which we were seeing in the platform action. If you are doing a no, then only it will open a legacy action. You can see if I do yes, then it will open the same platform action of UI element action. Okay, so instead of going through that pop-up and clicking on yes, you can directly take this new platform action, that is UI element action. And if you double click on it, okay, you can configure the same number of parameters you were configuring yesterday on the demo guru website, right? The telecom one. So here I will be using the XPath, okay, as a locator. I'm not using the IDA or anything anymore. I'm using the XPath. I will paste that particular XPath here. Okay, that this is my XPath. Okay, and I will say what exactly it is. Okay, what is this about? It is a drop down. Okay, this particular thing is a drop down. So we will be using the select class. Okay, and you want to select it via text or index or value. Okay, there are three options to select from a drop down. Either you can select by value, select by index, or select by visible text. Okay, now what are the three difference? Okay, what is the three difference between these three, all of three? If you select only by value, you are talking about the value you see here. Okay, the
Mhm.
value of the value attribute, this value, search
Mhm.
alias apps, search alias art
Mm.
and crafts, and so on and so forth. Okay,
Okay.
so if you provide this value, it is the value of the value tag name, value attribute name, sorry.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is the first way of selecting any value from drop down. You can go with the value, just copy this value, okay, paste it here,
Mhm.
and using this expression editor, click on it, and you can paste it here, and this will select the automobile section. Automobile, it will, if you run this action, it will nothing but it will do it like this. So this is the first option to select any drop down value. However, if you want to use this visible text, this is a visible text which you see on the screen. Okay, if you copy this and if you select the option I want to select by text, then you
Mhm.
can paste the text only. Now if you paste the value, it will not work. Okay, the value tag attribute name value pair, if you pass, it will not work. If you are selecting this option by text, then you need to provide only the text. So this is the difference between select by value and select by visible text. Very important. Okay, don't get confused. If you're selecting by value, then you are talking about the value of the attribute name value.
Mhm.
And the third one is select by index. Okay, so if you are doing an index, that means you want to select the third value, fourth value, and so on and so
Mhm.
forth. Okay, So index will nothing but, if you are putting a third, then all department is the first, art and craft is the second, and automotive is the third one. So it will select the third value. Before that, we will first rename this action. This should not be UI element action. It is select category. Okay. So I'm selecting the category as nothing but whatever want the category I want to select. And this is the launch URL. Okay. So now what I will do is I will close this. Yes, I will run this particular action now. Okay. I can run a specific action at any moment. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just running one action at a time, so that this action will just only launch the URL for me. Okay. So it launched the URL in my Chrome. I just run one action. Okay. For now. So this action is running and it is passed. Now I will run the second action one by one, each step at a time. So one step, it launched it. Second step, to select the value from index with 3, I run this action. Okay, and it is passed. You can see it is passed. Okay, and you can see it it has selected the third category for me. Okay, the index 3. Now if I change it, okay, to select by visible text, okay, and I will change to automotive, which is the visible text for you, and I run this action again. Okay, I click on the run action. Okay, the automotive is not the text there. Sorry, I did it little bit fast. What did it? Automotive. Okay, so the value which I passed is not there. That's why it's keep on running. It will run for 30 seconds, which is the default wait time. Okay, for any particular action. If you have not provided any specific wait, it will run for 30 seconds. Okay, the web actions. Okay, so the value was not there. It says, you can see from the error, this is the screenshot, and it says cannot locate element with text automotive. It should automotive. Okay, and make a spelling mistake over here. And now I will try to rerun this action, and it is passed, and you can see my automotive option is selected. Okay, clear. Select by index, select by visible text, and the third one is the select by value. So just a normal select, and if you provide the value, okay, I can't write it directly, I need to check the value. So something like alias. Okay, search alias or something. These are the different options, and I will select this books category. So I will copy the value. Okay, and I will paste it here like this, and I will run the action again, and you can see it is passed and the books is selected. Okay, so you should be clear with all these three things. Okay, we have just added two actions, and now we will be discussing about the flow controls. Okay, we will be discussing about the flow controls, but before that I really said that we should parameterize it. We should not pass it something hard coding like this. Okay, so what I will be doing is I will be creating one activity variable. Okay, I will be creating one activity variable from here. Okay, I will go to the variables tab. I will click on add new variable. I will add a string variable. Okay, variable string, and click on add variable. Okay, so this new variable is added. I will open it again. I will click on this general details one, and I will rename it to category, sorry, ACT, category text. Okay, so I just added a variable called category text. Whatever be the category for me, that will I will be keeping it here, and I will take a category. Let's suppose I want to select computers. Okay, so that particular value I'm putting it here as computers. I want to select computers as a select from drop down. Okay, so for that purpose I created this variable act category text. Okay, and once that is done, I will use this variable inside my action. Okay, operation settings, and I will use select by text. Okay, and I will pass that particular variable using the expression editor. I'll go to the variables section. I will go to the activity variables, and I will use this activity variable. Click on play button to see. I can see the computers. Okay, I will try to run this action and we'll check. Yes, computers is selected. So now we have parameterized it. Tomorrow, if I want to go here, I just change the value from computers to books. Okay, this will automatically, if I run this action now, I don't need to even open the action. I just run the action and see books is selected. Okay, instead of computers, the books is selected. Why? Because in the variable I change the value from computers to books. Okay, so that's the beauty of storing them into a variable. If you put it inside a variable, no need to open the action and change it again and again. Okay, cool, perfect. Now we'll move ahead. Okay, so you can see there is a span. Okay, there is a span which says its id is like nav search label id, and it has a text. Okay, so the value we select as from the drop down, we get it here. Okay, let's suppose I change the value to computers. You can see this value is now updated. The text is now changed to computers instead of books. Okay, so I will copy this thing, this id. I will copy this thing. Okay, this id I will copy, and I will try to write an XPath. I will say / span @id equal to this value, and you can see I got one result. So I will be using this XPath. Okay, in my script, in my automation. We are saying / tag name. Okay, and we are saying attribute name equal to attribute value. The value should be in quotes. Okay, so this is the XPath I'm using currently. And now I will add a new action over here. Again, the UI element action. Okay, and in this UI element action, first I need to rename it. I'm renaming it to what? Get selected value. Okay, what is this action doing? This is getting the selected value. Whatever we select, we have to verify if it is correctly selected or not. Okay, I'll go to the
Okay.
operation settings. Okay, I will go a little bit slow because you have to switch from one screen to another, one screen to another. So that will really bit confusing again. Okay, so I will go a little bit slow. I just added a new UI element action. Okay, I renamed it to get selected value. Okay, and now in the operation settings, I will change the locator to by XPath. I will provide the XPath over here. Okay, this is the XPath by which I will be getting the value of a particular web element, and I will say I want to get, this is a text. Okay, and I want to get the value. Okay, I want to get the value of this particular text. Clear? So what I'm doing, I'm just copying, I'm just fetching the value what is selected. Okay, on the page. So now, okay, no worries. So I will just I will just try to get the text, and if I try to run this action, you can see in the output values the same computer's value which I'm seeing on the screen is now available for me. Okay, I just ran this action and you can see the computer's thing the computers one is now available for me. If it would have been books, I could have get books. Okay. So if you run this action, the operation settings, we have the type, element type as text, and the element action is get value. So using this, I can get the value what is there on the UI on the screen. Okay. So now, as part of the expected condition value, I will provide the variable name. Okay, the variable name, that is my activity variable, and the ACT category text over here, because I need to confirm if the value which I passed over here is equal or not. Okay, this is the value, the actual value which I'm getting from UI. Okay, and this is the value which I have in my variable. If these both value are equal, then only this action will pass, otherwise it will fail. So kind of a verification I'm doing. Okay, that if this value, both the value what I provided, what I feeded in my script to select and what actually is selected, are they equal or not. It may be possible, right? I selected something else and it is showing something else. Okay, suppose I selected computers and I selected books and it gives me computers. Okay, this may happen, right? So just a UI validation I added, that whatever value I select here in the variable, which is in the variable, should be equal to the actual value which you see on the screen. Okay, so till now this is clashing, because here I selected books, it is giving me computers. Okay, so this action will fail. You can see it's saying the expected and the actual are not matching. Expected actually it is computers, but it should have been books. Okay, why this happened? Because I manually changed it to computers, just to show you. Because whatever we select from the drop down should also be visible on the UI. Okay, so what I did is I write an XPath, okay, like this, to check, to get the text first. Whatever I get, as it is an actual value, what is there in the UI is an actual value, and what I was expecting is I put in the expected value, I parameterized it. Okay, I use that same variable using this expression editor. I pass this variable that I was expecting it to be books, but it is actually computers. So it's a clash, it's a failure. Why this action failed? Because I ran this first action where I'm selecting the what category? It is books. Okay, this value is books, right? So I was selecting the books from this by running this action. I will show you. I will run this current action and it says, okay, books is selected. Okay, books is selected. Then I did some tricky part. Okay, negative validation. I manually changed this from books to computers. Okay, I did it manually. Okay, at the runtime, it will not be manual. I just, as a negative validation, I checked the computers. And now if I try to run this action, okay, it will fail. Why? Because computers does not equal to books. Okay, because intentionally you changed something in between. Okay, and that's why it's causing the failure. Okay, so that's why it's failing. Otherwise, if I run the whole activity again, okay, this will run perfectly fine, because I'm not changing manually anything, and the Amazon website is working fine. Okay, because whatever we select the value, okay, from drop down, the UI also shows the same, books is equal to books. Okay, clear everyone? Okay, so now I will add one more action, which is browser action. Okay, and the browser action says I want to close the browser. Okay, I want to close all. So this will close the browser. I will rename it as Jibrail mentioned. This is an end action to close browser. Okay, so I launch the browser, I select the category, I select the value, and I close the browser. This is my one flow of select category. You can see the activity name is select category of Amazon testing. That this is activities to select the category, and this is working fine. Okay, so now what I will do is I will I will change the category, run current action. Okay, so now books is selected. Okay, I will change manually to digital music or computers, whatever I want, and then I will run this action. Okay, I will run this current action and see this is failed. If it is failed, okay, if it is failed, you can see the action is stopped. Okay, nothing works fine. I'm not closing the browser anymore because in my activity I have selected that I want to run it. Okay, here it is. Okay, so here I have configured that whenever I get a failure, I want to stop my execution. I don't want to continue it anymore.
Mhm.
Okay, but if I change it to continue action run on failure, even the action got failed, the close browser will be
Mhm.
called. Continue action run
Yep.
on failure and stop actions run on failure. So if I configure
Mhm.
this enough now, I run it, and if there is a failure in between, again the same thing will run as well. I mean the close browser will also work for me. You can see now the cursor moves to new, and if I run the action, my browser is closed. Okay, so this is the one, but I don't want to do it like this. Suppose my things are here, continue actions run on failure, but I want to add a flow control. Okay, that if this execution works fine, okay, if this execution works fine, then only close the browser. If the execution fails, then don't close the browser. I don't want to close the browser.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, instead of that, what I have to do is I want to add a general action. Okay, I want to add a general action, and that general action is nothing but, let's suppose nobody, I don't want to add some action for now, let it be. I just want to run this flow. If this runs fine, then close the browser. If there is a failure in between, don't close the browser. I want to check, I want to debug it. Okay, so what I will do is I will double click on this action. I will go to the flow control tab. Okay, where I will go, I will open that action. I will go to the flow control tab. I will expand this flow control conditions. I will add a new row. Okay, and I will say if this particular action is passing, then go to the next step. Otherwise, if this action fails, okay, if there is a failure in this action, I don't want to go to the next action. Otherwise, I want to show a message box. Okay, and the message box, let's suppose, says testing failed. Okay, what I did, I just go to the flow control tab. Previously, we have seen operation settings, we have seen output values. Now we are talking about flow control tab. Okay, and in the flow control tab, I added a new add row. I added a new row which says if the action fails. Okay, here is a drop down. Okay, there are different conditions over here. Okay, so I said if the action failed, I want to show a message box. Okay, that the testing failed. Okay, now I will intentionally remove this value. Okay, and hard code it. What will I do? Hard code as computers for now, for to negative test. Let's suppose my, because I can't change the Amazon code, right? It is a live website. Okay, so I intentionally put it as it should always show computers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but in the variable I say books. I'm selecting books and I'm expecting computers to be selected, which is a negative condition. Therefore this action will fail, and the my flow control says if the action fails, I need to show a message called testing failed.
Okay.
Okay, so just I'm doing some simulator thing. Okay, that I want to intentionally fail my condition and show you something as part of the flow control. So let me run this activity now. Okay, once I run this activity, the first action, it launched the URL. The second action, it will select books from the category. The third action, it will try to read the value from UI, which will be books, but we have added a validation that it should be computers, which is a wrong thing. My action will fail and I should get a text box on my screen. Okay, a text box on my screen saying that testing failed. So it launched the browser, it selects the category. Okay, it should select the category as books, and now I got a message pop up saying that your testing failed.
Mm,
Okay, why I got this message box? Because because I put a flow control that if my action is failing, I'm expecting a message box.
okay.
Okay, so this is a flow control. If the action pass, if the action fail, what exactly you want to do, you can do it. Okay, so see you guys